All right, YouTube, we're headed to a not so exciting call. Unfortunately, it's the fire department called. They have a double fatal accident here in Findlay. The car is on its side, and I think the folks that were passed away on arrival are at the bottom of the car. Anyways, they wanted us to roll it over gently so they could get these folks out of there. So obviously I'm not going to film any of this or really have any pictures or anything, but just thought I'd do a little video on it, you know, talking about it. This is something that does happen in this industry. Not very often. I think I've only ever done one fatal accident in the city limits. It's not very often that happens, you know, lower speeds, but so I don't know the circumstances, I don't know how it happened, don't know who the people are, don't know anything. We just know we were requested to do a job, so that's what we're going to do. When we're done, I'll talk about it a little more. So obviously this is not something we're going to rush. We're going to take our time, slow and smooth with everything. Christian's behind me in a rotator. I have a rollback. I don't know what we're going to need to do yet. I'm not on scene, so I wanted to have anything that we might need. So we'll be here in a couple minutes, and like I said, I'm not going to show anything, not going to film anything while we're there, but I'll talk about it when we're done. All right, YouTube, so we're all finished with that. Got wet, downpoured there for a while. So like I said, you know, on the way there, I wasn't going to take any pictures or video or anything. That's obviously a touchy situation. You know, there's 2 fatalities in there. Family hasn't been notified of anything, and you know, obviously they're not going to want to see that stuff. So, and I don't want to show that stuff, even though it would do, you know, that kind of stuff would get a bunch of views and stuff, but that's not worth it. I don't want to do that. So that, I guess the point I wanted to make, last October, I think it was, we had the Findlay Fire Department out here. We did some training with them, and I'm wet, I feel gross, sorry, moving around. We did some training with them, and I had told them, you know, whenever if they needed help, they give us a call. We're not worried about, we just want to help in those types of situations, not worried about the money. We took a rollback and a rotator because I wasn't sure what they wanted to do, if they wanted it lifted or just rolled over, or what the plan was. I talked to the captain briefly on the phone before we headed out, and I wanted the rollback to tow the car back. So it ended up being an impound, so that is a different company that does those. So they weren't gonna let us do it, but then the fire chief, or the captain who was in charge of the scene, basically said, you know, I requested them, this is what I want done. So he just wanted it laid over delicately. Obviously the car was on its side, on its passenger side, and the people were down at the bottom, so it needed to be laid over gently. Obviously you don't want to flop that over, there's someone's loved ones in there. So I'm glad to help. You know, unfortunate circumstances that they would call us, but it's you know, it's not really ever good circumstances they're going to be calling us for help. So it came down, the plan worked really well. It came down super gentle. They got the people removed. Fortunately, you know, natural human behavior. Luckily the rotator and the fire trucks blocked a lot of the scene. It was kind of a busy road. There's a lot of people, you know, accidents get people's attention. I've seen already, there's some pictures floating around on Facebook and stuff, and that's just, I get why people do it, but you know, there's 2 people's loved ones in there, and you know, their family probably hasn't been notified at that point of what happened, and there's, you know, people posting stuff. So, but that's natural human behavior, so you're not going to stop that. So I get it, but just sucks. I wouldn't want to see, you know, a family member of mine or a friend or even an acquaintance see their vehicle all smashed up like that on a social media post. maybe like later on, you know, that's, you know, obviously they put that stuff on the news and stuff, but like when it's still fresh and like an active scene, that stuff doesn't need to be going around, in my opinion. So anyways, there's not really much to see in this video. I just wanted to talk about, you know, a different type of job that we do. Obviously everybody knows that there's fatal car accidents. They don't happen in the city of Findlay very often. Usually it's out in the county or on the highway with the state patrol. I think that's only the second one I've ever done in the city of Findlay. And to have 2 people pass away in the same cars, uncommon. So yeah, sad. It's life. It's, things like that happen. I've done, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 fatal accidents in the 8 years I've been doing this. It doesn't bother me. You're never happy to see this stuff. I'm not really bothered by it. So I mean, it's not a pleasant experience, but I'm not, it doesn't really like affect me all that much. So yeah, that's just an example of how fire departments and EMS and towing companies can work together. A lot of people wouldn't think that, you know, usually towing has a stigma of, you know, like dirty, greasy redneck type people, but, you know, and the fire department has all their fancy equipment and all that stuff, but it's one of those things that sometimes you just need a big tow truck is the best tool for the job, you know, with all that fancy stuff they have. And even when they were out here last fall, we had talked about different scenarios we could set up for them, and you know, that wasn't something that crossed my mind that they would run into. It kind of looked like the car was on its end, like vertical, and it hit a tree and then laid on its side. And I just, you know, trying to think of elaborate situations to set up for them so they could train, and that's just something you never, or I never would think of happening. So glad they called so we could make everybody's job a little easier. I did get the rollback stuck. I told them that was probably going to happen when we got there, because the way the car needed to roll was grass over there, so I pulled it off to the side and grabbed the car with the side puller to pull it over, and then Christian held onto it with the rotator and set it down. But I had to use the underreach in the bed to pull myself out, because it downpoured there for about 20 minutes to a half hour. If it wouldn't have downpoured, it probably would have been okay. But that's all right. So unfortunate circumstance. Not a exciting video, obviously. It's just me talking about a bad situation. So hopefully the next video is actually something entertaining and not sad. So appreciate everybody watching. Subscribers is still climbing up there. It's slowed way down, but it's still climbing up. Maybe that's some business. Thanks everybody.